Mi siguiente invitado es una superestrella, super DJ que tiene colaboraciones con Fade, Maluma, El Alfa, Nicki Minaj, Drake, entre otros artistas. Él es, y no lo voy a insultar, esto no tiene que ver con su tamaño, pero este es su nombre, Gordo. Normally you call somebody, hey, Gordo. Unless it's family or a friend, it's like, why you calling me fat, boy?
Yeah, no.
Bienvenido, Gordo, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, happy to be here. Hay un poco de confusión porque hemos hablado aquí si eres de Nicaragua o eres de Guatemala. Tú naciste en Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
¿Y tus padres?
De Nicaragua.
Pero viviste un tiempo en Guatemala.
Crecí, sí, de como de 2 a 8 o 9.
Cool.
Creo, sí.
¿Y cuándo decidiste y cómo comenzaste en la música?
Cuando tenía, no sé, como 14, 15 años, comencé haciendo como mixtapes. And,
¿Qué cosa es eso? Nosotros somos muy jóvenes, no sabemos lo que son tapes.
¿Cómo?
Sí, we don't know what tapes are.
Yeah, pero there's nobody in my family que, como, no hay cantantes o alguien que toca guitarra o piano, no hay nada así en mi familia.
So, ¿quién te influyó en ti? Entonces, who influenced you?
I don't know. I think cuando yo me moví en el norte de Maryland, como en the country, like super country, me moví ahí y pues no tenía mucho por hacer. Jugaba fútbol americano o me quedaba en la computadora haciendo nada. Y pues así comencé y una vez, cuando tenía como 17 años, me metí en un beef con otro güey que estaba haciendo música en el MySpace. Yo hice mi música en el MySpace y comenzamos haciendo diss tracks. Yo era rapero y así comenzó. Y tenía un amigo que era rapero también y me preguntó que si podía hacer beats. Y comencé y así comencé y pues comenzó todo por un beef.
Todo por una tiradera. Entonces,
una tiradera. Yo me llamaban Arcángel de Maryland.
El Arcángel de Maryland. ¿Qué opinas de esa tiradera ahora entre Arcángel y Anuel y eso?
No comment.
No comment. ¿No te gusta meterte en ese tipo de cosas?
No. And, you know, and don't voy a mentir. I could like listen. I listened to the track, and like I can't really understand half of it. I don't know what's going on, like the little punchlines and stuff. Like,
well, besides the fact that it's 10 minutes long, right? It's like,
is it 10 minutes long?
It's 10 minutes. Extreme, is it a 10-minute diss track?
Yeah, dura como 10 minutos y medio. Pero sí. Es que tiene mucha historia, son muchas cosas, se conocen hace muchos años, y entonces Arcángel tenía mucho que decir y
it's like an audio reality show.
Básicamente.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because for me, you know, dealing with like el rap and like hip hop and like American rap, you know, it's like not saying it's less dangerous, but like in America, like beef happens, like people are dying right and left, you know? So like when I see, you know, his like Latin guys doing that stuff, and it's just like it's a little bit of I don't know, it's just I don't know. No, it's just a different world, so it's kind of hard to like take it seriously because I don't really be out like with those guys, so I don't know like how really like sketchy all this stuff could be, right. You know, but like seeing it from in America, you know, ya sabemos todo que in America, like everyone's dying right and left, so it's just like, and
it's definitely
like,
not productive.
Yeah, it's not a productive.
It's not
thing.
Good energy.
So you know, that's what it is for me. I guess it's like I'm looking at it and I'm like, you guys could do better. Like, let's not. You guys aren't gonna stoop low to like what these kids out here in America are like doing and stuff. You know, like these kids are like beefing and rapping, and like they're not even that big, and like grandmas are dying and parents are dying, and like it's like getting really, really, really dangerous. So it's like you see Latin music as such a happier type of music, right. You know? So like you just don't want it to be that dark.
You don't think we should give into this kind of stuff because we're feeding this negativity.
I know it's like exciting, obviously. It's like Anuel, like they're beefing and it's like exciting and stuff, but it's like I just come from a world where like people are really dying from that stuff. So it's just like relax.
Do you get off on this stuff, Extreme?
On what? On like tiraderas?
Like Anuel and, you know, makes you laugh? You think
no,
it's
es entretenimiento. Es entertaining. O sea, es más entretenimiento. Tú dices, wow, o sea, le está sacando los trapos al otro. O sea, you know what I'm saying? Like, habló de algunas cosas personales, and then you got the whole factor of, you know, wait, he went too personal. What's going on here? Ahora, right now, everybody's just waiting ¿qué va a decir Anuel? O sea, ¿qué va a tirar? Is he gonna do? You know, is he gonna diss him back?
But I
¿Se
kind
va
of
a quedar
feel,
callado?
I kind of feel what Gordo is saying, because
Of
you feel like
course, of
a great
course.
sense of responsibility when you know, when so many people are listening to you and so many people follow you, and especially young people, and things can get very ugly very quick. It's like, why feed that negative animal, you know?
Yo siento que
But whatever.
en español lo hacen más como para show que
Yeah,
versus,
yeah.
en el mundo americano. En el mundo americano, o sea, si hay tiraera, muchas veces hay pelea y al punto de
And a
Gordo.
lot of times it turns into violence.
Yeah.
It's barely any peleas. I don't think these American guys fight at all. It's just straight to the shooting.
Yeah, ugly.
So, yeah.
So Gordo, but you weren't always Gordo, not physically, but the name
Yeah. Me llamaba Carnage.
Carnage.
Yeah.
And Carnage can be interpreted as a very violent name too. Is
Yeah.
that one of the reasons why you decided to change?
No. I named myself Carnage porque I wanted to like destroy the rap game. Like that was like my head space. Like I wanted to like, you know, it's funny enough because I was raised in Guatemala, right? So like I really got introduced to like urban culture and pop culture like till I was like, you know, entering like the end of elementary school, like middle school. So like I'm really late to a lot of like normal stuff, you know? Like I didn't like you know, in Guatemala, I would watch football or I would watch like WWF, you know, like that was kind of like the only thing. And like I didn't really, my family, my aunt, my uncle who I lived with, they were like, mi tío era abogado, mi tía abogado, y también estaba alto en el militar, mi tío. And like, so like it was like I was in a military home, so like they were very strict. So it wasn't like I was like watching TV and like, you know, eating like junk food. Like we would go eat Domino's pizza on Sundays after Iglesia, and like the whole week we would eat like at the house. Like, and like, you know, I wasn't like out and about like as a kid, you know? So me going into like America, and like that's when I got fat. Like I started eating, like my mom would take me to like McDonald's and shit, and like American food is just so bad for you. And that's why like I was skinny growing up, and then I just got introduced to like the American lifestyle, and it was just shitty.
Where do you live now?
I live in Hawaii.
You eat better there?
Yeah, I eat everything from my land. I have everything. I have a huge farm, and
You grow it yourself?
yeah, we have aguacate, mangoes, cacao, naranjas, lemon, papaya. We have everything. It's amazing.
Hawaii.
Yeah,
I want to go to Hawaii.
it's
Someone who sings about Hawaii, Maluma. It's one of the guys you've collabed with, and Fade, and El Alfa, Nicky Jam, Drake. How do you go from that 13-year-old kid in Guatemala to now being a super producer and working with such big names? How'd that happen?
Pues I just always I wanted, growing up, like in that time, like, you know, I would look at people like, you know, DJ Dramas and DJ Khaled's, and I was really big on like collaboration, like making like, oh, let me see how I can grab 8 people from all over the world and put them on songs and stuff. And like, it was more in that way. And then yeah, it became like a thing where like, you know, I was like really at my house working on beats every day, you know. And I just like got into, I was just like working on a lot of music, and then I wasn't doing well in school. And, you know, if you're Latino and you drop out of school or something, like the family's fuming over that, you know, so you can't really do that. Not a lot of people make it to college for us in our families. But like it got to the point where I was just like, you know, I was just doing it, and I was like, all right, well, like, I'm gonna like make this happen. And my family was upset with me, and I dropped out of school because I wasn't really doing well. And I just had to, like, when I dropped out of school, I was like, I gotta make it, I gotta do this. And I was, you know, 18, 19, and then I moved to LA when I was like 19, and you know, I was doing that. I'd find a management then, and they'd got me a publishing deal for $15,000, and I was 18 years old, and I was like, all right, I just got a publishing check for $15,000. I had produced a song then at that time that got me that check. That was Big Spender with A$AP Rocky and Theophilus London. That was a long time ago, and I got a $15,000 check from Ron Perry, which is the president of Colombia now.
That was your first big break.
What
put you on the map?
That back then, that was the first song that like got me any. You know, it didn't put me on the map. It was just like,
I say it kind of gave you some type of recognition, right?
Gave me something to like be like, okay, I can do this, you know. But it didn't really do anything for me. But that was the start. I went to LA, and then I went out to LA and nothing happened. And then so I moved back to Maryland and got my diploma doing night school because my family wasn't talking to me. So I had to like do something.
They were still mad because you dropped out.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
They didn't understand it.
No. And then yeah, I went back, moved back, wasn't working out still. And then finally went back to LA and moved to LA and I started doing that and I got into the pop world and I was like producing stuff and then nothing really happened for like 2-3 years and then all my money was gone and I was broke and I moved to, Skid Row in LA? You ever heard of Skid Row where all the homeless people live?
Yeah.
So I moved there and I was, broke, just trying to do it happen. And then,
You're actually homeless at one point?
No, I wasn't homeless.
Almost.
I didn't have any money to pay for it. My management put me in like some like home with like these other 2 artists. And we were like, had a bed on the floor, cockroaches everywhere. It was disgusting over there. And I was just grinding it out, just trying to figure it out, eating Subway every day, eating Pollo Loco, and just literally having $5 meals every day and just eating that and being in the studio for 14 hours a day. So I was doing that for a long time, for weeks and months and months and months, and then one day I was making electronic music because I really liked it, and I was doing that. And then one day I put out a remix for this thing, and I named it Festival Trap, which was I tried to differentiate from what I had, what it was before, and I tried to make my own spin on it. And then that remix was on SoundCloud and it blew up. And it went viral, and I remember, SoundCloud back then, 8 years ago, was SoundCloud's peak. Before the SoundCloud rap era, that era 10 years ago was really, really big. And getting 1 million plays on SoundCloud was really insane. No one was really doing that.
It's a big deal.
And I remember I got 1 million plays in a week. And then after that, I was releasing remixes every week. And they were getting 1 million plays every week. And it was this new genre that was called Festival Trap that I created. And remember, still at that time, I'm broke. I'm putting these things out. I'm not a DJ. I don't know how to DJ. I'm just a producer. And then I was like, okay. And one day I remember I went with my homie to this trap show in LA. And it was for the EDM trap stuff. And I was we went to go see one of my homies who was a DJ that was popping. And I remember we went to go see it. And it was at Los Globos. And it was 400 people. And I was like, holy shit, there's a thing you could do shows and play the music that I'm making. So then I tried to start to learn how to DJ. And then I was trying to get an agency. I remember we reached out to AM Only. They said no. And a bunch of agencies said no. And I was trying to get, booking.
Why do you think they said no?
Because I think it was I wasn't popping like that, I guess, or they didn't see that it was going to be something or something. But back then, there wasn't that many in that type of world, rap, bass music and stuff like that wasn't popular then at that time. And I guess the people who really only had agents at that time were people David Guetta and Tiestos and those people, are big names. But in America, electronic music wasn't an American thing at that moment. It was European, even though house and techno and all that stuff started in America, started by Black and the gay community in Chicago and Detroit. And then techno became a bigger thing when it went to Europe. So American DJs, even though how big they are, American DJs aren't known to be big globally. So
why do you think that is?
Because it wasn't, electronic music wasn't a big genre in America. It was in Europe. You go to Europe and you meet people. You'll meet kids, they'll be yeah, my dad used to go to raves. My parents used to go it's a cultural thing. In America, you can after everybody here in this office, you can line everybody up. Maybe 1/3 of them people listen to dance music, Right. So it wasn't a big thing. So I was trying to get an agent and finally got an agent who was also from Maryland. And he was yo, I fuck with you. You're from Maryland. I'm gonna help you out. And then literally just like that, the Carnage thing just started blowing up, and all my remixes were really big. And I was kind of the only Black guy that was DJing and doing that stuff. And a lot of the big European guys befriended me because my remixes were big EDM songs. I was turning them into trap songs. And then it just started getting bigger and bigger, and then the Carnage thing blew up.
Well, thank God you were persistent, right? Because most people would have been given up and just said, "Shit, I'll just do something. Let me go a different direction." Because it seems like everything you just described that you kept running into different roadblocks. But what kept you going? What kept you motivated? And what kept you focused? And what was that vision that you had that you said, you know what? No, I've created something that I know it's going to work.
I think being Hispanic. I think we're like the hardest working people on the planet. I think me not having a plan B was an important part, and and also not letting down my family and looking like I failed. I think that was a big thing, and I have a good ear. Like, I know that I have a good ear.
Obviously.
I think when you know these things, you kind of just are reassured of it. It's like if you have that go-to meal that you can go home and cook, and it's going to be fire. Like, there's like when you go into making that sandwich or that pasta or whatever that you're making, like, there's no one telling you it's not going to be good. It's going to be good. So like that was my thing. Is like, I know I'm good with music. So it just went that way, and it blew up really fast, and I kind of like it just happened really fast. I was 21 at that time, and by I was doing shows. I remember my first shows. I was and I remember I was still DJing with my contractor S4 and my laptop, and doing these shows and getting $1,500, and me getting $1,500. But also you have to know that these are things that I'm learning going in. So like my managers that were taking care of me, that took me in the house, like I was like, in debt to them, so like I started making first money, and I still owed these dudes all this money that they put down for me. So like I was still like in the negative, So like getting $1,500 a show.
So everything you were making, you were using that money to pay back.
Yeah. After they told me that, I was like, I'm pretty sure I made like 20 bands in like 3 months. Like, they're like, yeah, good. Like we thank you for paying us back.
Why did you just do what everybody in America does, just to, declare bankruptcy?
Yeah. Yeah. So just that happened, and I was getting $1,500 a show here, $1,500 a show here, and making a little money. I mean, money that I've never ever made for like that. So like that was thing, and then it went from like $1,500 to like $3,000, and then now we're getting $5,000 a show. And then now we're getting $8,000 a show, and then we're at $50,000 a show, and then we're at $100,000 a show. It just kept growing and growing and growing. Remember, at that moment, EDM was like exploding, and it was the biggest thing in the world. 2013, 2014, and like it was. And then I remember like at the end of that year, like I have a business manager, and like I have like attorneys and lawyers, and I think it's funny because I was talking to one of my homies recently, and like, it's crazy because in the entertainment business, I think it's, now because the DJ world and electronic world has become so big, but it's like, it's probably one of the longest lasting jobs in entertainment. Like we can sit down and I could list you 6 to 10 guys that are all 50 plus that are getting $300,000 a show, and they're still as lit as an 18-year-old
guy. Why is that? Why is it that this genre in particular has like a longer shelf life?
Because it's the culture, right? The culture is, it's not about the DJ. It wasn't about who you are.
It's about the music.
It's about the music, right? So you could go at a club, and back then, where the culture started, the crowd was never facing the DJ. The DJ was there, and that's why a lot of these stations are built like that, because that's where the culture is. It's not about that, right? So the DJ would be in a corner, far away, in the dark, and then literally it would just be a dance floor.
This is a pain that Extreme has gone through a bunch of times. He's I don't know how many shows you've done in your career, but he's gotten booked for a lot of shows. And the pain of being hidden behind a curtain.
Yeah.
Being booked for a major show, but no, put the DJ back there in the corner. Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still getting paid. So that's why, I'm saying, to a certain point, I don't complain, and I still rock out. I still do what I do. But yeah, sometimes it's weird. You run into situations where you're like, what in the hell did I get myself into? But at the end of the day, it's like, yo, the show has to go on.
Yeah.
I mean, my question to you is, what show or event did you play where you were like, yeah, I made it. We're here. Like, at what point after all that struggle and all the stuff that you've gone through, did you either right before going on or right after you got off your set, you were like, yeah, we're here? Like.
I mean, I think it was a couple. I mean, there was like all the first going in. I had a lot of going into the beginning of the Carnage stuff. There was a lot of weird things that happened, a lot of changes that happened that make a lot of sense to the whole Gordo thing now. Which I remember when everything was going really, really well for me. I remember, you know, all the trap stuff was big, and I became like one of the faces for trap music in America, in the world, right? When trap music became way bigger, but I was like kind of one of the poster childs for that. And I remember I already at that point I was getting tired of that stuff, and it was early, like 2 years in, and I got kind of tired of that stuff, and I started making more house stuff and like more progressive house stuff and more EDM, just like big room stuff. And I remember I had a talk with my agent, and I was like, yo, I don't want to, because I just didn't like the parties. I didn't like, you know, the vibe. The bass music was very still underground and subgenre. And I was seeing, and I had a lot of friends that were playing, you know, VIP clubs and stuff. And I was like, I want to play VIP clubs because obviously you're going to get more money. And like, I don't want to be doing like these, like, I don't want to be doing this stuff. I want to like, you know, be playing big clubs in Vegas and shit. They were like, well, that music really isn't, you know. So then I started switching up my style a little bit so I could play these places. And I also at the time was releasing music that was like, I released a song on Spinnin', and you know, people like Tiesto and Avicii started playing that stuff, and I was like, look, it works. Like, they'll play my music. So then I remember at one point I told my agent, I was like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do trap music anymore. And everyone looked at me crazy, and they were like, well, you know, like it's gonna be. So then for 3-4 months, I remember when I was first started making money, I did no shows, and luckily it started working, because then my songs were getting bigger in like that type of space, and I started playing VIP clubs, and I was playing there, and they liked it. But then it was for a long time I was doing my shows and going to like and playing house sets, and then my fans were getting so mad. They're like, we came here to play trap music. Like, what are you doing? You're not playing any of your big songs. And I went through a long time where like I was doing that, and people were really upset at like me not playing trap stuff. And then and then slowly it started turning, and then I started playing VIP clubs, and then I was getting 20 grand a show. And you know, it was like okay, like it's like working. And I went through a lot of changes in my life, like as an artist. And I think that's why we've gotten to a point now where the Gordo thing is kind of bigger than what Carnage was, and it's only been 1 year. And I did Carnage for 8-9 years. You know, I've done it all. Thank God. Like, I played every festival in the world, every main stage in the world. I've done it at the highest level, like literally the highest level possible. And then I switched my style up, and then now I'm bigger than I've ever been 8 years before, and it's only been a year and a half. So it's just these little moments happen where like, you know, I'm only 32 years old, you know, like, and I feel old, you know, like, and it's, you know, it's just like, you know, it's just kind of crazy, because it's crazy,
but also your evolution proves that, you know, and to your point, that it's really not about the people when it comes to artists, right? It should always be about the music.
Yeah.
And of course, your public and the people that you attract, and that experience, and music does that. It brings people together. It's an experience. It's you know, soundtrack of so many different people's of all of our lives, right?
Yeah.
And to your point earlier, when you talk about, you know, that the parents of a lot of the younger crowd, you know, we're tied into the music is just an experience, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard sometimes to even right now trying to find the right words to put it in. It's a feeling, it's a vibe, it's something, and the fact that you're able to evolve and reinvent yourself, felicidades, te felicito, because not everybody can do that. And for creative people, sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where it's like, what's next for me? What can I do? And how cool that you're able to reinvent yourself. Technically, you could look what Marshmello's done, right? A lot of people don't even know who Marshmello is, or what he looks like. And the fact that Marshmello could retire tomorrow, and who knows what is in his mind, and he still needs to create and wants to create, and he can create a whole new sound, a whole new persona, a whole new character.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's I mean, it really just comes down to how bad you want it, really.
Yep. And you wanted it pretty bad, and that's why you're at where you're at. Felicidades. Now you have the TARAKA Latin American Tour de Gordo. 25 different cities, 15 different countries. You start up now. You're ready to go like today.
Yeah, I start Guatemala on.
How cool is that to go back
on
to
Saturday.
Guatemala, where you were a teenager, where your parents were pissed off at you because you started, you wanted a career, you envisioned yourself making a career in music, and you're gonna start there.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
No, it's dope. I haven't been back. I haven't been back in Guatemala for a while. I think the last time I played Guatemala was 2018. There was a Carnage show, and it was right after the volcano erupted. And we did a charity show, and we built like 50 houses from that show, and it was like a big thing. I remember we went there. It was like 5,000 people. It was like.
Is this your initiative to use money from your shows to do positive there?
There's no initiative. There's like no. I do the shows just to do shows. I do the charity stuff like on my own.
Why is that important to you?
Because I grew up there. Like that's the big thing that I always have. I have conversations with, what separates me to like another, Latin kid, which grew up in Miami or New York or LA or Houston or Dallas or Chicago or Massachusetts. Like I actually lived there. Like I grew up, like I've seen dead people. I saw kids huffing glue at the Mercado growing up, like I've seen the shit that people don't see growing up, in America.
You've seen that struggle, so you identify with it, and you want to do something to change that.
Of course. So, when I first started making money, and doing the Carnage stuff, I remember the first thing that I did, I think 2015, I built a school in Nicaragua. And I built a school in Nicaragua, and then I built a iglesia con mi tía in Nicaragua, and then I built one in Guatemala. I just built a school in Guatemala a couple months ago. Like I spend money, I buy jewelry, I spend, because I work really hard. Like I'm gonna, be proud of my shit. But like
Sure.
I also do like build schools, and like there isn't that many people that do that type of stuff. So like I always try to balance it out with like doing some good, and like I grew up in the people que me cuidaba en la casa. Like I remember dropping them off sometimes at their home, and they lived in a shed, like a metal shed, and like rain was going in, and they 6 of them living in a place as big as this, like I've seen that stuff, and these were people that were close to me. So like I know what the struggle's like, and I just always had a strong connection with Hispanic people, and how how hard they work and how they just make it happen. Like I can see like, if I drive by and I see like somebody like super del pueblo, ¿verdad? And like, super indio, and I'll see them, like I can relate. I can feel their passion. I can feel their, what I have like a certain connection with them where like I have empathy for them. I know how hard it is that, I know I have cousins, and I have tios and tias where like they come to America, they work illegally. My whole family is illegal. And they work all week, and they make $100, $200, and they go straight to the MoneyGram, and they go send that money and send it back home. That's how it is. So whenever I see shit like, people talking about, Latin people coming into the country, immigrants, and they come and like, are doing gangs and doing that stuff. Like majority of these people that come into the country are just trying to make some money to send back home.
It's very clear to me that you're a Trump supporter.
Like, it's just like, like I hate that shit, and it's just, I'm just very, I just want to give back. And, I'm in a culture where like majority of the people in the electronic world are all white. They're all white. Not even black, even though black people created that type of stuff. Like there's barely any black people. There's barely any minorities. And, and like DJs, just like, rappers and singers, like they get paid. A lot of these guys make a lot of good money, like making a lot of money. But like majority of them are white. So like what happens? They make a bunch of money. What do? Like buy cars, or they go and like donate to like some like Red Cross or some big corporate thing, like just like the most, basic thing ever. But like I'm Hispanic. Like I want to actually give back to our people. You know, it's kind of it's you know, it's a thing. Like, you know what, like majority of like these guys are white or European or stuff, they're not giving back to their people. They're not, you know, like their people haven't struggled as much as Hispanic people do. Not saying, you know, someone struggles more or less, but like it's just, you know, the shit that we deal with in our families and stuff, and you know, like it's just stuff that our people need, and especially dealing with so much stuff. Like I've worked with nonprofit organizations, like, you know, and like Raíces, who I work with in Texas, and they go and deal with people, and you know, when all the immigrant stuff at the border was happening, you know, I went and met up with families and stuff, and you know, it just makes me feel good because I'm like doing stuff, I'm doing something, you know, where like everyone really isn't, and it's just like annoying because it's also annoying too because as a thing that DJs have, it's a long lasting thing, but also for us, like we go to every part in the world, literally, and we could go and all we need is one USB stick, and I can go to India today, I can go to Macau the next day, and then I can go to Thailand the next day, and then I can go to South Africa the other day, and then I can go to Pakistan, and then I can go to London, and then I can go, like, you know, it's actually insane how much we travel and how cultured DJs are because we're in different places every single day. Yet, majority of these guys aren't doing shit to help out any poverty or any things that are happening in these places that we go to.
Well, Gordo, felicidades y gracias. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I feel that you have like a sense of community, obviously, and a sense of responsibility to your people and where you came from and what you and your struggles, and the fact that you want to obviously you have something to say, and obviously you're doing something about it, and you've stepped up to the challenge that's much needed. So gracias por eso, te felicito. I wish more people did that.
Yeah, but I don't know. They just don't know what it's like.
I feel like something's weighing on you. Like you got something on your shoulders. Like like you feel. I feel frustration. You feel like that people aren't. Are we letting people down? We are. Are we not doing enough?
I think we're not doing that much. We're not. I mean, even like, I don't know, you guys are more tapped into that stuff, but like even when like I try to like pay attention, like I know I was talking to Maluma the other day, and like he's done, like Maluma and like J Balvin, like they go and like fix up like a court, and like in Colombia, you know, in Medallo.
And no one pays attention to that. Pero sale una tiradera de Arcángel y con Anuel, and then everyone's talking about it, everyone's posting about it, and at the end of the day, it's a bunch of bullshit, and it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't do anything for anybody.
And like no, and like trust me, I'm the last person to be like super political, like yo, like you know, super woke and shit. Like nah, like obviously like watching, you know, a beef, you know, online. And having Alofoque talk about it or something, you know, fuck, it's funny, you know, it's fun. You know,
it's funny, it's
it's
entertainment.
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, right.
But like also like balance it out. Like go if you're the biggest artist in that country, go build a school. Go just do something, like do something cool. Like
so you want to call anybody out? Fade, go build a school. Maluma. Oh no, Maluma does a lot. Who else needs to build a school? El Alfa. El Alfa building a school, he does a lot. He's got a great heart.
El Alfa, bro. Yeah. When I went out, I play Santo Domingo next week, by the way. But I went out there for the first time, and like he like picked me up at the airport. This guy is so insane. Like I've never seen someone like to the point that I thought about it. I was like, damn, this is like low-key dangerous, because like literally we were in his Lamborghini. He picks me up at the airport.
He was driving. So llegaste a República Dominicana, te recogió el Alfa, y tú crees que el Alfa es peligroso manejando en el Lamborghini?
He's insane. No, they're all insane. Like son locos. Like no, like I thought I was gonna die a couple times. Like in the car with these guys. These guys are insane. But the power that guy has en ese país will blow your mind. He picks me up. When he picks me up, there's like 50 cameras everywhere, and like all his homies with like like G-Wagons, and there's all these nice cars, and then literally everyone working at this airport just like leaves their posts, and like they're like screaming at him, and he brings out a mat wad of cash, and he's giving cash to everyone, and everyone's like praising him, and it's like, and then he gets in the car, and we're driving, and everyone knows it's him, so like everyone gets in the street, they're like al alfa, el presidente, everyone's like el jefe, and he pulls up. I remember this is like fresh 5 minutes after he picked me up. We're driving out. And there's like this guy, he comes out, and he like, they come up to the car like el jefe, el presidente, and he's like lo compartís todo, verdad? And they're like yeah, and he's like, go to the G-Wagon, and go to the G-Wagon to the back, and the guy's just giving everyone money, he's like taking care of everyone, and he would drive by, and everyone like salutes him. It is, trust me, I have a lot of friends that are very powerful. This shit is next level. Like the guy, there's no red lights in Santo Domingo.
Yeah,
like,
Dominican Republic.
It doesn't mean, no, I'm saying there's red lights, but
no,
it doesn't mean shit to them at all. They are driving up to the red light. The other car gets in front, blocks the other street.
Yeah.
They're moving ambulances out of the way. Like, it is
in Dominican Republic,
insane.
When you get to an intersection, whoever honks first has the right of way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happens. That's the way it works in DR.
Yeah. No, it's just like, it's really insane how much they
So what you're saying is that El Alfa has inspired you when you get to Guatemala now. You're gonna stand up on top of a car,
buddy.
And you're gonna
shot.
You're gonna hand out money.
No shot. Nah, like he guys like the cops are showing him love. Like he's just, and then his cars are all known. So like when
everyone knows it's him.
I remember one of his homies picked me up to go meet him at the studio like the day after, and we were in one of his cars, and the windows are tinted, and like everyone thought it was us and El Alfa, and like it's just like, yeah, it's really, he really like. It's kind of the same with Drake. Like they just run their countries. Like they're as powerful as the president there. You know, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Una locura.
Mucha influencia ahí. TARAKA Latin American Tour de Gordo. And we can follow you, of course. Para aquellos que no conocen la música de Gordo, te invitamos a que escuches toda la buena música de Gordo. Extreme actually has a little surprise for you here coming up next. Thanks for coming in, man. Yeah, you have a lot to say. You ever consider doing a podcast?
No, because they would cut me up and make me look crazy. Because I'm like, my English, it's funny because Spanish is my first language.
Sí.
So I learned it. And then when I moved to America, I started losing the Spanish and I started losing English. But like, I fuck up with my English too. Because I'm like thinking in Spanish or like thinking English.
Brother,
so,
I
like,
identify exactly what you're saying.
So I'll talk and then like, like I've seen it happen. Like I'm like arguing with like my girl or something, and I'll say something. And she's like, "What?" I'm like, I just didn't mean it to sound like that. Like, but like, yeah, it's a bit of a.
You speak from the heart, and that's what's important.
Yes.
Gordo, very nice meeting you.
Gracias, hermano.
Gracias a ti, que te vaya muy bien en tu TARAKA Latin Tour.
Yes.
15 countries.
TARAKA.
TARAKA.
What does the name? What does it mean, and where did it come from? That's what I should have first asked you.
TARAKA.
TARAKA.
You know what Latin means, right?
Yeah, Latin America.
Okay, cool. TARAKA. TARAKA is the rarest butterfly in India. And I was just one day because I was trying to figure out like how I wanna, because you know, if you're a DJ or something, you like start a label and like you have label parties and stuff like that. But I did that with the Carnage stuff, and it's just, I was like, I want to just focus on creating a party. And that was like my only focus. So I was like, what do I call it? And I was trying to think of, I think if you think about the most successful brands or ever, you know, it's very easy to read. Easy syllables, TARAKA, for some people not, you know, but it's
not for Enrique.
Not for not TARAKA, not yeah. Well, let me tell. Well, listen.
He said it's easy to read, and then he immediately.
It's just, I don't know. It's
this butterfly is beautiful, by the way. We learn something new every day. It's beautiful, TARAKA.
Yeah, TARAKA, and it just means I'm rare. I'm like, you know, just different, and you know, it's actually really insane because in South America right now, electronic music I had the conversation a couple days ago, like in South America, Do you guys travel a lot in South America ever?
South America, yeah, occasionally. Not.
It's a whole different world down there.
Yeah.
Like the more south you go, it's just the crazier it is. But it's like, now, you've been guys doing this for a long time. So like, imagine, has there ever been a moment where like you go to places like Argentina and you have guys like Dookie and Nicki Nicole who are mega stars and are doing stadiums and they're massive, but like they're like Argentinian. Right. Or you go to Chile and you have like Rich Boy West and Young Sister and they're like massive in Chile. You go to Brazil, like there's people who go to Brazil who are massive in Brazil and just tour Brazil year round, and it's that big. People forget how big.
It's a whole different world.
Whole different world. Yeah, so right now in South America, for the first time ever, the top 2 genres of music, if you're 15 to 30, you listen to 2 things. You listen to Latin music, Latin reggaeton urban, or you listen to electronic music. So right now, DJs in South America, it's entering a point where like DJs are as famous as un cantante. So it's crazy because you go there and we're entering a point where like electronic music is becoming so big and so prominent. And look at reggaeton and Latin music, how many dance influences, electronic influences are in reggaeton right now. It's everywhere. So right now I'm going to all these places and I'm educating everyone and educating everyone on, what is dance music and what's electronic and like what these parties are. And you have people like Tale of Us, Afterlife, who's going to Colombia and Argentina and Mexico, and they're selling 70,000 tickets. Like that's Karol G numbers, and this is DJs. Like it's getting to the point. So that's my main focus with going to, with Gordo being so big in South America now is TARAKA, which is I just want to leave my stable and like, when it becomes so big, like y'all know that if you quieres una rumbia, quieres un after, quieres una fiesta, go to TARAKA. That is, a span. As I said, all these people in the electronic world, they're all white. So all the biggest parties in South America for DJs, a bunch of white guys. They're going down there, and like those are the most famous people out there, DJs out there, a bunch of gringos. So it's just like I want to go and like let people know that we do it. And there's a bunch of Hispanic DJs all over the world, and you know how it is. Spanish people also are the biggest haters on their own Spanish people, and that's how it is in all different types of cultures. Sad
but true. Instead of propping each other up, instead of helping each other out, a veces lo que hacemos es destruirnos uno al otro, desafortunadamente. Thank you for schooling me. TARAKA. It's a beautiful butterfly.
You almost said tarco.
TARAKA, but that's my main focus, and TARAKA is going this tour in Argentina, January 20th. He's doing 25,000 tickets, and Chile we're gonna do 15,000 tickets, and it's looking really big and really great, and I'm really happy that a bunch of Spanish people are going and dancing and celebrating our culture together.
Well, thank you for elevating our culture and our music and nuestra gente. Felicidades.
Gracias.
I like what was the song you did with El Alfa, El Más Chingón.
El Más Chingón.
Yo, that bass,
the bass line.
Oh my God, I love that thing.
It's cool.
I'm gonna steal it from you and use it on my show here. This morning I told the guys
don't steal it. Just ask them for the instrumental. That's it.
You got to give us.
You got the man right here, bro.
I got you.
But you got the Pioneer DJ, the Serato thing
don't be promoting the stems. Don't be promoting the stems.
I finished that song here in Miami with El Alfa. Actually, funny enough.
In his Lambo.
No,
he can't drive. El Alfa cannot drive his Lambo the way he drives his Lambo in the Dominican Republic.
No shot. No, actually, no. I think he does though. He drives his car pretty crazy in New York, I think. Him and El Cherry. Crazy guys.
Porque es el más chingón.
Yes.
Gracias, Gordo. Un placer.
Gracias. Mucho gusto.
Si quieres salvar tu matrimonio, dale click a este video.